Oh, welcome, all you food truckers out there. It's another weekly podcast, the Foodtrucker Magazine, and we got a pretty packed house in here tonight. We got a bunch of special guests, including our local fire department, City of Cincinnati, David Mingo Fire Specialist, Fire Prevention and Risk Bureau. Is that
Risk reduction?
Risk Reduction, see, with us tonight. So, you guys saw the post that we put out last week and regarding the food unit blitz that's coming in 2021. My email box got flooded with questions, and so it thought it'd be a good idea to bring him on tonight and let him kind of explain the whole program and to talk about fire protection on a mobile food unit in general, especially given the light of what happened last week at the Cincy Brewing Company with fire on high. Obviously, there were some issues there, so we want to try and make sure that not only you are safe on your mobile food unit, but that the public is safe whenever you're out and about serving to the public. Joining us also tonight, we've got Anthony Catanzaro from the United Healthcare Company. We're going to talk about what it takes to staff your trucks in the coming season. And we feel that one of those issues is going to be not only paying them well, above and beyond the McDonald's rate, but also providing benefits such as healthcare and life insurance and that kind of stuff. So you might not think that that's feasible on a food truck, but it is, and he's going to talk a little bit about those programs and how you can afford to do those. And then also with us tonight, we've got our member, Chad Barrett from Quad Q Barbecue. Just picked up his unit. We did some firework on it for him so that when he goes and sees this guy, he'll be able to pass. And he was kind enough to bring us some delicious pulled pork, some brisket, and what is that slaw called? St. Leon slaw?
We call it St. Leon slaw.
St. Leon slaw. All right. And then a little later on tonight, we've got a special guest calling in from Houston. As many of you know, they were hit pretty hard by the recent storms, which is why we couldn't have him on last week's episode, including us, which is why we did the podcast last week from home. On Tuesday, but Nick Nanakos from Truck Bucks is going to join us in the 8 o'clock hour. So that is what we got lined up for you guys tonight. If you got any questions, type away in the chat room. We are going to be monitoring that. Food Truck Brit's in the house tonight. He's going to make sure that you guys get your questions answered. What's up? So, Dave, let's talk about this blitz thing that's going on. So you guys did this last year, which I wasn't aware of, and it was the first time you guys did it last year.
It was the first time we were able to get the health department and the fire department, along with the county health department together to kind of give you guys a one-stop shop kind of deal when it comes to getting your mobile food units permitted. So it turned out pretty well. It was very nice last year.
So how many trucks ended up coming out last year?
We had about 30 in a matter of hours. We were able to get them through fairly quickly. So, yeah, it was pretty successful. We're kind of behind the 8 ball as far as putting a bunch of...
Oh, is that all? Hang on a second here. Let's make sure that that's on. Oh, he's on.
Am I on?
He's on. I just turned him on, man. See, I didn't... All right. So anyways, so 30 showed up last year.
Yeah.
Now we did quite a bit of notification this year since you sent this to us. And I think what we're trying to do is we're trying to get our entire fleet down there.
That would be great.
So by having them all come down there at one time, obviously you're going to have enough people on duty to get through them.
The fire prevention, community risk reduction, we normally take care of the building department. We do acceptance tests for their various fire systems that they need in buildings and all that. And that day, we're not going to have any tests. So
okay.
Everyone's going to be down there, so we're going to have all hands on deck.
All right.
Get you guys taken care of.
So then,
I'm gonna need him to mic check one more time.
okay.
On the power here. Just turn the power on for him.
It is on.
Yeah, I don't hear him in my ear.
Yeah, I don't hear him either. It is on though.
Hello.
So hang on a second, folks. We want to make sure you guys get all this information from the fire department. So
Yep.
Yes, we can do that.
All right.
Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one working?
Yep. Sure
All right.
does. All right, just pop that bad boy right
All
there.
right, a little
It's
technology there.
strapped on.
Yeah.
Okay, you're good to go.
You get to do it like a rock star because I want to be a rock star.
Problem is, I think better on my feet, so if I walk around, but
Well, they look.
it's not a wireless mic, so.
All right, guys. Sorry about that. You're good to go.
All right, cool. So you guys reached out to Hamilton County Health Department, City of
Hamilton Ca-
Cincinnati?
Yeah, both health departments, so they'll all be there.
So they can do the entire inspection process all in one location.
That's the plan.
And it's all going to take place March 2nd down at Union Terminal.
Mhm.
I imagine the Union Terminal, is it still closed or limited? So there's plenty of room.
I originally wanted to do this on Monday, but the powers that be on the fire department could get it on Tuesday. So I don't know if they're operating hours or if they're open, if there's was any reason that for the change on that day. But
So what's the hours going to be?
we're going to be down there from 9 a.m. until hopefully we are done with you guys. Hopefully that's before 5. But
Look at this guy. He wants to go to happy hour already.
oh, I don't know. I want to go home.
So let's talk about the inspection process because, once we're going to backtrack a few, I'll say about a year and a half. A year and a half ago, State Fire Marshal's Office issued out a memorandum that gave a set of criteria for all fire departments to follow when inspecting mobile food units. And there was a big hubbub against the fact that it wasn't mandated.
Right.
And because it's not mandated, it can be interpreted by each individual fire department in its own manner. And so technically a fire department in one jurisdiction, even though it's got the same criteria to measure a food truck's, fire safety measures, it's the same exact form, can charge them a certain fee. Whether that fee in Blue Ash is $150 and in Cincinnati it's $125, in Hamilton it's $75. Technically, each fire department could charge that separate fee. And so that kind of rubbed me the wrong way because I'm like, well, wait a minute. If I go to the Hamilton County Health Department and I get inspected for my health department certificate, my health department certificate is good in any jurisdiction in the state of Ohio. So I can go all the way up to Cleveland and I've got my health department certificate. Now that health department there might inspect my unit and they rightfully can do that, but at least they know that I've also been inspected here in Cincinnati. So there was a meeting of the minds, I guess, towards the end of last year, I think, where most of the fire jurisdictions pooled together and try and come out with a resolve, I guess you would say, to how that issue would be addressed. And from out of that, I understand that if you're inspected in the city of Cincinnati, that will predominantly be recognized by other departments. Am I wrong in saying that?
No, that's our understanding also.
Okay.
Is that if you get inspected by the city of Cincinnati, since we are the largest fire department jurisdiction in this part of the state, then we've been talking to other jurisdictions to take our inspection. That's good.
Good. Okay. So I reached out to the law department up there at the State Fire Marshal's Office. Actually talked with her for about an hour. She's the one that actually writes the code. And basically she said, if you guys want to have this mandated as food truck industry, you got to get a petition signed by X amount of people across the state. And then you could submit it to our department. And then we might consider, or we'll put it on legislation to change it, to mandate it and make it a law. In which case, then the fire department in Cleveland that might inspect me would be recognized by these guys down here in Cincinnati as well.
Yep.
But they have every right to come on the unit at any time and still inspect the unit to make sure it's still compliant with when it was inspected in Cleveland. So if we can get that done as an industry as a whole, I think that would be beneficial for everybody, because then it would be a statewide fee that everybody knows they're going to incur each and every year as part of being in business as a mobile unit. That's something that we are trying to get done. It's with anything in government, it moves relatively slow. So hopefully someday it'll be mandated and across the board. Now, we had Tony Wethington from SA Communal, which is the guys that install all of our fire suppression systems. In a few weeks back on one of the episodes, and he was saying that there are different periods of law when it comes to fire code on a national level. So, like some states might recognize 2016 codes, other states might recognize 2020 codes. What is your opinion on that? I mean, shouldn't all states just be current to like the latest code?
Yeah, the issue with that, I believe, is that there's a problem rolling out, the fire code. One thing that may get put in the code here is not necessarily, as far as nationally, is not necessarily going to apply in Nebraska or Montana. So when they roll them out like that every 3 years or so, the jurisdictions kind of take a peek and say, what really applies to us?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have, for example, in California, you have a lot of wildland fires and this, that. We don't have a lot of that here in Ohio.
Right.
So that part of the fire code, although it's in there,
Right.
may not make it into the Ohio fire code. So
That makes sense.
yeah. That's kind of how that
Right.
whole thing happens.
So, in speaking with the state fire marshal's office, I understand 2022 is going to be the year in which all grease-laden environments inside of a food truck are going to be required to have a fire suppression system.
Did they tell you that? Because no, that's
That's
the
what
rumor
they
is,
said.
I did just a little background. I've been with the Fire Prevention Bureau for a little over 2 years, and from day one, when they gave me this food truck thing, that was on the horizon, and they didn't say when it was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So we know that it's coming down the pike. We don't know. We haven't been told the exact date that's going to happen.
Right.
But it doesn't mean 2022 is not the year.
Right.
So, I mean, if you call up and they give you an answer and, you can kind of figure it out, then then that's the deal. So, but there, in my understanding of how it's going to be enforced, if it's something new, you're not going to be, if you were inspected and let's say we get you done on Tuesday,
Right,
and the fire code comes out next year, and it doesn't get implemented right away or what have you, we're not going to say, okay, now every mobile food unit that has grease laden vapors or this is not in compliance.
right.
We're probably going to give you a little time to kind of get things together. I mean,
well, that's a good thing then for all you guys that are tuning in. Now you can start freaking out because, we've been kind of told that it's coming, and we know that it's coming. And in addition, I was told that people will not be grandfathered in, meaning that if you have a truck from 1985 that doesn't have a fire suppression system in it, doesn't matter. You got to get one put in it.
This is true.
That is going to cost the food truck industry millions and millions of dollars to upgrade their trucks and their systems. And so as we build and fabricate units right now here, we know it's a huge expense. It is. I mean, the cost of a fire suppression system is equal to, if not greater than, the cost of the hood system itself. But we also tell people it's like putting an in-ground pool in your house. It increases the value of your unit. It also provides safety and lowers your insurance policy numbers. And it creates, these guys makes their job a lot easier, especially if it's done by a professional company, which it has to be in order to get tagged. So bite the bullet, invest the money, and get it done right the first time out the door. And guess what? You don't have anything to worry about. And then down the road, you can sell your unit and you'll get more money out of it. So that's my take on it. I think you guys are going to be, surprised when it does come down. And we just kind of want to give you that heads up that it is coming. So just so you know. But let's go back to the Blitz. So other than, have you reached out to any trucks to set up and serve food?
Actually, we have not reached out to any trucks to serve food. We know a lot of you guys are going to be down there, but we haven't said, oh yeah. And I'll tell you this, it's kind of a touchy subject to some people in the field because we are providing a service and we're inspecting the trucks. So to some, that may be viewed as, if you guys are feeding us, you get where I'm headed.
Never thought of it that way.
So
Okay. right. So you're not allowed to go back over for thirds.
Well, here's the thing: is that that's something that that I can talk to people who get paid more than I do.
I just thought maybe if one
I
truck
can-
out of or two of them, sets up and feeds people down there that are working. I mean, I think that would be a generous thing for a truck to do. So
That would be a generous thing for a truck to do, although they would not get any special consideration
exactly.
when it comes to.
So
comes
if
to
any of the
inspection.
trucks that we have fabricated and has a fire suppression system in it would like to go down and set up and feed these guys for doing this work for us, let me know through email or call me or text me, and we'll get you down there to serve these guys for making this a whole lot easier on the entire industry. So, but other than, so the health department is going to do their job as well. Obviously, they're going to be looking for all the same things that they do at events. I guess that's kind of a strange scenario because you're not going to have food in service. So you're not checking food temps. You're just going to be checking refrigeration temps, water flow, water temps. I mean, all the other things that go along with it. I don't know how the health department would thoroughly inspect down there. I mean, do you know? Obviously, you're not with the health department.
Yeah,
so.
I don't know exactly how they're gonna do their part of the
But you
inspection.
guys will do the thorough. And what is it? I mean, what was the last? It was 200 and something points, I think, on the sheet that you guys got to go through.
There is the state sheet,
Yeah.
which is really what we use. We kind of go down. I mean, Cincinnati we have a couple of things that that may be different, but not by much. So we pretty much use the state form that you may be even to find online,
Mhm.
and we kind of go point by point.
Right.
You look at your signs and your exits and all that stuff. So
let's go through the truck because knowing the way that we build them right now, I'm pretty familiar with everything that needs to be done from going the outside of propane all the way flow into the inside truck. So obviously you have to have the proper security for your tanks. So it's 36 inches off the ground if you're running tanks rear mounted.
and here's the thing about that.
Okay.
The language was actually, well, the wording or the numbers were changed a little bit ago. It was originally 36 inches, but it's 30 now. So you got another 6 inches. I mean, that if that helps out. So it's 30 inches off the ground. There are a couple of other things. For example, at events, at least in the city of Cincinnati, I know we allow. There's supposed to be either 7 or 10 feet between each mobile food unit. We allow 3.
Okay.
So that we can get you guys in there. You can do that. So there's a few things that are a little different than they were before. But yeah, the 30, because you got a lot of these older mobile food units that are rolling around that when they were built,
right,
they weren't even 24 inches off the ground. So
right.
I mean, we do have to make some type of accommodation for that, but the 36 inches hasn't been put back in yet. I think the thinking is that as more newer units are built, if they're built to the specification of 36 inches, then that will be required. So if I were building one, I would go 36 inches.
Right.
Just because it says 30, I would
right.
actually err on the side of safety and go 36 inches.
Yeah. And I think the reason for that is because of the projectile of a vehicle going into the rear of the unit. You want to make sure that the hood that crashes in the back of the truck, the tanks are higher than what that vehicle might be.
And the I think the argument was made is that, you're sure it may be okay for a sedan or something, but most people are driving SUVs now.
Yeah.
So that 36 inches doesn't
really matter.
doesn't matter.
You're going to get hit anyway.
Yeah.
So it starts with that clearance. So now that we know that there's a variance there, that's kind of, either one, that's good to know, because there's some trailers that I know of that have their tanks mounted to the tongues. And obviously those tongues are not 36 inches off the ground. So that will be good for them. But the 3-foot clearance is very nice to know, especially given the fact that we did not have any events last year.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So now that we know that, as an event producer, having that 3-foot clearance is great because now you can reschedule and reorganize your events to not worry about that 8 to 10 foot difference that you had to have when all this came out.
Yeah.
So that's good to know. But the things that you guys are looking for, obviously, proper propane lines,
Proper lines. Yeah,
shutoff valve on the outside,
absolutely.
sticker that indicates there's a shutoff valve there,
And-
no smoking, propane sign.
Mhm. Where that valve is, that's very important to us.
Okay. So then we go into the truck, another emergency shutoff valve on the inside of the unit prior to getting to any of the equipment. Each piece of equipment needs to have its own shutoff valve.
Yeah.
And then it also has to have now a quick disconnect gas line.
Yeah.
Okay. So for you guys out there that aren't compliant and you're thinking about going down there, there's nothing I can do for you between now and next Tuesday. But you have to get it fixed if you're going to go down there and get inspected.
The important thing is where anywhere your line goes into your truck, that has to be protected, either by a solid line, or you can't just have someone drill a hole and run your gas line in through that. That is definitely not going to fly. Even if you happen to get by us, which I don't think you will, if we catch you at an event, we're going to ask you to leave.
Right.
So the obvious safety issues we're definitely gonna be looking at. If you had a truck that was, I graduated high school in '88, so if you had a truck that was made in 1988, and it's still somewhat in compliance, meaning you have all solid lines. You may not have quick disconnects or anything like that. We will probably, if those lines are in good shape and have been pressure tested lately, we're probably going to let that go for a little bit.
So given the pressure test scenario, obviously we conduct them here prior to a unit going out to make sure that there's nothing leaking. We also do the soap test. But what are the other aspects of the propane system that you guys are looking for? Specifically, obviously signage. What else do you guys look for?
Signage, your valves, what shape they are. We are actually looking at the tanks themselves. That's something that a lot of people think, oh, I got this tank on the side of my truck, and they actually kind of have an expiration date.
Right.
So we're actually checking those to make sure that the tank is actually still good. Even when you get it tested, if it's not in compliance, if it's not within that date, the manufacturer's window that's allowed for that, we're gonna tell you should get a new tank. So things like that. Like I said, how your gas lines go into your apparatus. I'm a firefighter. Your truck.
Ladder 12.
How those gas lines go in. Just primarily the safety, the safety systems we're going to be looking at.
All right.
Yeah. Means of egress. There's a difference, and actually, this is one of those things that comes to code interpretation. The size of the means of egress, and you're supposed to have two separate ones, which are 5 by, if I remember the code correctly, 5 by 7 square feet or something, which is kind of like the size of a window,
right?
At a house. So if you have, let's say, I don't know, your G20 Workman or whatever van that you had that has a side door and then the actual window that you serve out of. When you are, and if I remember this correctly, when you're actually cooking and something happens, you can use that side window
to get
as a means of egress. But when you're not cooking or serving, I think it may have to have a back door. I have to look at that again. I'll give you guys the right answer for that.
Okay. Yeah, I was always under the impression that you had to have, the way I read it, two means of egress, and I always assumed it was two door egresses, meaning the back fold down trailer door, the side door going out, the passenger side or the driver's side. As long as two of those were accessible, then you had what you needed to get by.
Right.
But I've seen some units where, they'll put a sandwich block or a sandwich prep station in front of the back door. Well, that blocks off one of the egress points. So, you You guys ding them on that, right?
When you're operating, we're going to say something about that.
Okay. You know who I'm talking about out there. You need to change that to the other side. All right. So, I mean, you guys going through this, I mean, you are going to be detailed, even though it's a bulk scenario where you're trying to get through X amount. I mean, you're going to,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, we're gonna have 6 guys from fire prevention down there. So and really, if here's the thing, and I'm letting you guys in on a little secret. If we look at your truck and everything seems to be in good order, and we don't find anything glaring and all that, I'm not saying we're just gonna kind of brush you through, but if everything
Right.
looks good, if we don't find anything that really jumps out at us and all that, we're gonna continue on. But personally, the minute I find something, I'm looking for a lot of other things all of a sudden. So
Okay.
once we start digging, and we can use the code, that's going to happen. So I think those that have been at this for a little bit are they kind of know what
Right.
definitely needs to be done. Those new folks, I would say get with the ones that have been there before and figure the whole thing out, because
Mhm.
When we're inspecting and when we're telling you guys you need other stuff or new materials or whatever, it's probably not a very good feeling. And if this happens at an event, let's hope that we're able to have events this year.
Yeah, I think we're going to catch up in August.
Yeah, if
September, October.
we start having those things this year, if we see it at an event and you're not in compliance, we're gonna ask you to leave. That's something that's been passed down from my superiors, that if they're not in compliance, boot them out.
Okay.
So
Well, there you go. So you guys know, you've been forewarned. You've got the opportunity to go down and get inspected. Now, if you don't get down there, because we've had this question, they can still go through the inspection process. They just got to go through it online, right?
yeah, well, they go through it online.
To sign up for it.
Yeah, to sign up for it. Go to City of Cincinnati, the fire department website, through the city. And if you look at fire prevention, and actually one of the drop down menus there should be fire permits. So the food truck permit is in that drop down menu. You set up an account with Easy Track if you don't already have one, and it'll kind of walk you through that whole process to get a permit, get inspected, get in our queue.
Okay.
And then we'll get you in there.
So is it required by if he's in, I don't know, St. Leon, Indiana,
Mm-hmm.
and he wants to service Cincinnati at some point during the coming months, he needs to get your inspection,
absolutely,
even though he's been inspected in St. Leon.
Yeah, especially St. Leon. You're talking about Indiana, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially if it's across state lines. Yeah,
okay.
we're gonna want to look at them for that. And part of the reason for that is when I started doing this a couple of years ago, there were a couple of events in the city where mobile food units came from out of town, and they weren't in compliance, and they're parked directly next to guys that are local,
right?
And you're like, well, how can they sell falafels or whatever the heck they're selling,
right?
And they're not in compliance. Well, that's why when you come in, we got to take a peek at you.
Okay,
we don't want that to happen anymore. So,
all right, good deal. So there you have it, folks. That is the info on the date. It is March 2nd. It's going to be down at Union Terminal. Cincinnati Fire Department, Health Department, Hamilton County Health Department will all be on site to inspect your units. Get it all done in one day, get your permits, and then you're good to go and you're off to the races.
Absolutely.
If not, then you got to schedule an individual appointment with the fire department at some point and go through that Easy Track process and all that paperwork and stuff. And it's just, extra added headache, if you ask me.
Absolutely. And since we're going all digital this year, we're trying to save trees and not generate a lot of paperwork. And also the digital thing allows us to track things easily.
So when you guys do the inspection, you're setting it up on the tablet?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Well, as a matter of fact, the thing, I will have this with me, this tablet, and we'll be going through the inspection point by point, drop down menu by drop down menu and all that. And the goal is my supervisor will be there, and they're the ones that actually look over the form, make sure, I didn't, miss something or what have you. And they'll be able to approve a permit right there on site. So
Okay.
before you leave, most likely you'll be able to get an email that'll have your permit printed in that
Nice.
email, so you can carry that with you. We know a lot of people will have a folder on
Right.
their I was about to say apparatus again, on their truck that that has important information and all that stuff in there. You can keep that permit in that folder. So even if something happens with your sticker, let's say I run out of stickers or something like that.
Right.
If you're approached vending or selling food in the city of Cincinnati, and you can pull this out and say, hey, I was inspected on this day. Here's my permit. You can look at the permit number. You'll have all that stuff with you.
So when you started doing this a while back, did you ever think there'd be this many food trucks in Cincinnati?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm actually surprised. The whole brick and mortar thing, and this is just my opinion. If you having a food truck and being able to take your truck to whatever event, it seems to be the business model that's gonna be prevalent. I think
Yeah.
it's years ago, if anybody had thought Jeff Bezos would be as rich as he is, I mean, he just started really a mail order business. Think about it.
Yep.
He doesn't really sell anything.
Yeah.
But I think the convenience is one of the things I think is really important to people right now. And if you can bring the food to them, we got these DoorDash and Uber Eats, and those guys are doing their thing. So you can bring a whole restaurant to somebody.
Yes, you can. Especially some of the ones we're putting out of this shop,
yeah.
buddy. I'm telling you what.
I think that's the way society is actually going to go here. So.
Well, I appreciate your time coming in, explaining this to all of our listeners out there that are in the food truck business. And this will be available on our website tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
We'll take this live podcast, share it out to our site. The links will be there for you to link over to the documents you need to get your unit up to code and get it up to speed and up to par for next Tuesday. So we appreciate you coming on.
Oh, thank you. Oh, and also, it's much easier if you get on Easy Track before you come down. So one, we have you in the system already. It's easy on my tablet. I can just pull you up and we can get started in the inspection. If it's possible, if you have internet connection, to do it there, but if you're already set and ready to go, that the process is much easier. It goes much smoother.
So you'd prefer them to pre-register on Easy Track, or they have to be?
If you're gonna get an inspection that day, it's all digital, so we're gonna have to see that you're in our Easy Track.
Okay, so you guys got that out there. You're going to have to get onto Easy Track, which is off of the Cincinnati Fire Department website under the tab
Fire Prevention. Then you go down Fire Permits, and it's one of the drop downs in there.
I'm going to grab that link and put it on the homepage for y'all to make sure you get registered and signed up on Easy Track. I know that we're going to have a couple of photographers down there, like I said, taking pictures. We'll have a drone doing a little flyover, so it'll be kind of nice footage to grab.
Yeah.
A bunch of food trucks all in one place, especially with the background of, the Union Terminal. And so we'll see you guys down there next week. So there you have it, from the mouth of the fire prevention specialist himself, Mr. David Mingo. Appreciate you, brother.
All right. Appreciate you guys. Thanks.
Yes, sir. Had to take a drink. Wow. So you guys got some work to do out there if you're not up to speed. So first and first, you got to get on the Easy Track and register in order to get the inspection down there. And second, you need to download and look at the inspection criteria, which they're going to be following, that came down from the state. Now, all that information is available on our website. You can just go under the tabs that are on our site and pull down all these documents that you need to look at. So, and if you don't do it, then you'll have to set up an individual time somewhere down the road that better fits your schedule. So it's not mandatory that you go, but it sure is convenient for these guys to do this, take their time, especially with the health department being there and everybody else. I'm assuming the health department, you're going to have to register for that too. Make sure that you got your documentation in on that. So, but yeah, that's kind of cool. So when we saw that and it was sent over, I was like, sweet, big old food truck rally with nobody serving food. So we wanted to talk about. We had a bunch of people have been putting out ads for staffing for employees, and I've always had the mindset that if you pay people well, I think that those people will stick with you, stay around, and will treat your business kind of like their own. And then I've also had feedback from people saying, no, I'm not going to pay people this much money, or I'm not going to do this, or I'm not going to do that. And honestly, if you don't treat your people right, both financially and in this case, another topic we're talking about tonight, which is healthcare, they're just going to find someplace else, to do it. Now, right now, we're in a world where people just collect a paycheck and sit at home and take that paycheck to the bank because of all this going on with COVID. So, they're getting loans, grants, PPP money, unemployment, whatever. In the food truck world, it don't work like that. We don't really give people unemployment because we're pretty much all self-owned and operated. But we do have to have part-time staff. We do have to have people that come out and service us 4, 5, 6 hours at a time when we're doing neighborhood events, when we're doing, catering events, this, that, and the other. It's always been my philosophy and my mindset to just pay people really good money, and they'll come and they'll stick with you. But I think another thing that's coming down the road is that a food truck's going to have to operate like a brick and mortar. It's going to have to take care of their staff and their employees in a manner that there is benefits involved, in a manner that there is healthcare and insurance provided to them. And it sounds like it's weird, but it's the food truck industry is evolving into an actual industry. It's not anymore of a, I don't know what you call it. People thought it was going to be a fly by night, fad that was, just going to come and go. And honestly, the more brick and mortar establishments that I talk to, and the ones that are migrating towards food truck operations, are doing so from a business perspective. They're not doing it from the mom and pop perspective where I just want to open up a dream truck and serve my quality, whatever. They're looking at it like, hey, this is our brick and mortar scenario. It's not really working anymore. This model is going to go by the wayside. We need to look at, like you said, bringing food to the masses. And if I can bring it to the masses and I don't have to compete in trying to get people to come to my restaurant, that's a much easier scenario. I only got 4 people on my truck. So we wanted to bring Anthony on. He reached out to me a couple weeks back about providing healthcare. And I thought, it'd be really nice to have the association as a whole be able to enter into a plan scenario where every truck member that's in our association would then be given X amount of benefits, not only for themselves as owners, but something that they would be able to pass on and share with their staff and their employees. So let's talk a little bit about the healthcare business, my friend.
All right.
You've been sitting there patiently listening to the fire stuff.
This is all good stuff. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about Anthony.
Well,
Elder grad, right?
Yeah, elder grad.
All right.
First, I just want to say thanks for having me on and giving me the opportunity to talk to your members. I've actually checked out a few of your previous episodes, and I really think this is a cool resource. I don't know how many people know about it. Any food truck?
66.
Well, week 3 had at least 100 viewers. So no, it's actually more as much as it's enlightening from a business standpoint. You guys are actually pretty entertaining. So I ended up just watching episode after episode. It's there's an entertainment value to this too. But so
we try.
No,
I ain't subscribing to that shit.
No, it really is a cool resource. So
Thanks.
any food truckers I know or that I meet, I'm definitely going to refer you to them.
Well, I appreciate it.
If I owned a food truck, I would definitely be a part of this. This seems like a cool, really cool group.
Thank you.
Yeah, basically, I worked for a independent agent with a company called U.S. Health Advisors. Before I get into all of the numbers and everything, I just want to, maybe give a little bit of background about myself.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, elder grad, so lifelong Cincinnatian, born and raised on the West Side. Played football and wrestled at Elder. Wrestled at Mount St. Joe. Shortly after graduating, got a job with a small aircraft engine company here in Cincinnati. I'm not sure if I can say the name, but the initials are GE. And
Who's that?
and I've been in the healthcare industry in one form or another for about 15 years. Worked for Mercy Health for a while, and unfortunately was affected by the COVID layoff. And I'm sure a lot of your members, all of us, are kind of in the same boat. We've all been affected by COVID in one way or another. So after getting let go, because a little bit of background with that, a lot of the hospitals canceled elective surgeries, and it was across the board. A lot of hospitals did it because they were expecting that COVID wave,
Right?
and at least in Cincinnati, it just didn't really come. And so, month after month, with not doing the elective surgeries, millions of dollars were lost, and a lot of employees had to be let go. And so, unfortunately, I was affected and spent several months job searching. And it was, it's a tough market out there. And
We're hiring.
that's great. so are we, actually. So for those of you who have been, I've always been an employee. I've never, I'm now self-employed as an independent agent. But I've always been a W-2. So my health insurance was always paid by an employer. And I never realized how expensive health insurance is, because when you work for a large company like a GE or a Procter & Gamble, Mercy Health, they're paying a large portion of it. But then when you get let go, there's this thing called Cobra insurance. They let you stay on the plan, but you no longer get that group discount, and they're no longer kicking in their portion. So where I was maybe spending a couple $100 a month for insurance, I was now spending $1,400 a month for Cobra.
Wow.
And then my wife and I recently had a little boy. He's
congratulations.
Thank you. He's going on 4 months old. So when we added him to the plan to Cobra, it went to $2,000 a month. So that wasn't gonna fly for long.
Right.
And so I started searching around, and I found out about this company, U.S. Health Advisors. We're a United Healthcare company, and so found a much better plan, much cheaper, and then found out that they were actually they were hiring. And so I got licensed. I'm licensed in Ohio, Kentucky, about a dozen states. And
good for you.
So, and not to bash any other companies that I've worked for,
right.
At Mercy, I was creating spreadsheets. I was tracking things like mortality rates, which that's how many people die in our facilities. I was tracking length of stay, readmission rates, just really exciting stuff. Obviously. And so it was a great company to work for. I can't say anything bad about Mercy Health. My dad worked there for 10 years. Good people. I used to always say any company that mentions Jesus in the mission statement can't be that bad to work for. So great company, but I just wasn't really passionate about what I was doing. Spreadsheets, and it just wasn't. I wouldn't do it for free on the weekends. So, right. So not to sound cheesy, but like this is like one of the first jobs I've ever had where actually I'm excited to go to work because, today I didn't bring any brisket, but I did come. I did come bearing gifts, and it's in the form of savings, because that's
what I want to get to.
Because that's what I do now is I help people save money. So if your listeners, if your members are currently getting their insurance through the public marketplace, which is generally where self-employed would get it, because they're not going to get on a group plan if they're a member of one. I've got options for them, basically. So
let's talk about those options, because I personally am putting it out there saying that, hey, we're not the only association. So there's, other associations that could probably do the same thing if they wanted to take that step and do it. I want to take that step and figure out, how can we do this? How can I give this man insurance? He has 4 kids, which is why his brand is called Quad Q. So how can I get him insurance that would cover him and his family and all that under a single umbrella, such as the association? So if I have 40 food trucks in this association and they all have families and members and kids and this, that, and the other, why can't we do that? Can we do that?
No, you could. Now, everyone would be individually written. So we offer insurance for individuals, families, self-employed, small businesses. For example, an elder grad recently reached out to me because he saw something I posted on Facebook. He's a regional manager for a freight company here in Cincinnati. He's responsible for 15 employees at his office, and he's hoping to grow it to 40 by the end of the year. So he recently basically set me up as their agent as they have new hires. My information is going to be in their packet. They're going to contact me. I work with them. I show them the quotes. I show them the different plans. They get on the plan, and then he's going to reimburse them up to $250 a month.
Okay.
And so he said that most of his guys are younger. He said average age of 26. So I ran some numbers for him. So I don't want to bore people with too many numbers, but
well, that means
people want the information.
Yeah.
So just for an example, I ran the numbers for a 26-year-old here in Cincinnati. We could provide full medical coverage for $206 a month. Now, if you add dental and vision, it took it to $251. So basically, his employees, if they want it, they're basically getting their insurance covered for free because he's going to reimburse them with the $250. We actually got, like I said, we got a plan for $251, and so that's going to be, I think it's going to be a huge win-win.
Yeah.
So he's. Let me get this straight. So he reimburses them up to $250, but is he taking that out of their check in the form of a payment for the?
No. So what they're going to do is like this is pretty new. We just set it up recently. So they're going to have to work out the details. But basically, what he said he wants to do is it'll be their bank account that the money's withdrawn from. And there's positives to that because it could be set up on a business account. We could put everyone. So let's say 10 of the 15 want to join.
Right.
I know some of them are on their spouse's insurance right now, and maybe once open enrollment comes around in November, they'll probably jump off because they can save the money. They can drop to a single employee instead of a family plan. So there's savings there. We could set them each up and have the withdrawals come from the business account. But then if somebody quits or gets laid off, then there's that headache. The good thing about the way he wants to do it is they will sign up for the insurance through me. They'll be underwritten. They get approved. They're on the plan. And now it's their plan. So if they go to another company or for any reason they leave, the insurance, there's not gonna be a gap there.
Right. They can just take it with them.
Yeah. And what he's going to do is he'll just reimburse them. So whether it's just going to be an automatic, they have to send the monthly statement and then he, gives them an extra stipend or, that'll be, that's his decision, however they want to work that out. But basically what he said is they're going to pay and then he's going to reimburse them.
Chad, how is your insurance right now? You guys, is it married? You're getting it through your wife?
I get it through my wife.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess that's a similar scenario for a lot of folks. I mean, one or the other is covering.
Yeah. And
covering
so
the family.
So like in your situation, what I could do is basically you and I would set up a time to talk.
We know how you guys get yours. It's good insurance. My pops has it. No,
yeah. It's never cheap when you leave. So, but basically, so if your wife was just getting single insurance, not for a family, but it was just for the employee, non-employee plus spouse, if everyone is familiar with the terminology,
right?
Obviously, that's cheaper to just insure her. So you're paying more right now because you've added yourself and you've got kids that are also on the plan. Employee insurance is great when, or employer-based insurance, I should say, when it's covering the employee. Like I said before, it's pretty cheap. But then once you start adding family members, it gets more expensive. It's not just let's say you're paying $100 for the employee, then you add a spouse. It doesn't just go to 200 because now there's two people. It's exponentially more expensive.
Right.
Again, the company will cover a good percentage of it for the employee, but now when you start adding on a spouse, dependent one,
right,
dependent two, it gets a little pricier.
Yeah,
so,
the risk factors increase.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so what I could do for you and any of the listeners, any of your truckers who are currently on their spouse's plan, I can just get you some quotes. I can run numbers and show you. Okay, so if we were to, your wife could stay on her employer-based insurance, because I'll just be honest, we're not going to compete against,
Right.
GE. Procter and Gamble or GE. Yeah, so she could stay on it, but now drop that rate down to a single, and then we could put you and the kids on this plan if that makes the most sense, or maybe the kids stay on her plan, and then we just get you on a individual. Self-employed,
Right.
Health-based plan. And again, that's the cool thing I like about my job, is that I'm not a salesman. I kind of joke and say I couldn't sell a cheap hooker to Charlie Sheen. So I am not.
Yes.
I am not.
And we're not
This is
even
what we're
drinking
looking for.
tonight.
Yeah.
We got Mountain Dew.
Yeah. So if you have to bleep that, I'm sorry, but
no, it's all right.
but
It's
no,
a podcast, dude.
yeah. But no, so I'm not a salesman. I'm a health advisor. So I've actually had people that were referred to me that I run the numbers for them, and maybe based on their income, if they're in a lower income bracket, so they qualify for a subsidy, for a discount, I'll let them know, hey, your best bet is to go to healthcare.gov and jump on one of those ACA, Affordable Care Act, the Obamacare plans. Because that's going to be your best bet. Or if somebody has a pretty serious pre-existing condition, that they're going to hit their deductible within the first 3 months. Right. The plans that I help my clients get access to on the private market, again, they are they're underwritten, so you have to be somewhat healthy. If you're 5'3" and 500 pounds, you might not be on this plan. If you have maybe type 2 diabetes, or you're a smoker, the reason our plans, the private market, the reason those rates are a little bit cheaper is because we're looking, we're working with healthier people. You have to qualify for it, and then the best example I can give it is like,
well, hell, that just shot the whole food trucking industry to hell.
Well, I mean, it's not a super high standard, so you still go ahead and
we stand a chance.
Yeah, so you're saying there's a chance. So, but no, basically, I kind of lost my train of thought. I was going to give the analogy of your car insurance.
Right.
And most people are kind of familiar with a safe driver discount. If your neighbor's got 4 DUIs and 5 speeding tickets, and you don't, you're a pretty safe driver, obviously your insurance company is going to reward you,
right,
for being a safer driver. And so we do the same thing with these health-based plans. If you're fairly healthy, you can get on these plans, and you're going to save a lot of money as opposed to the public market. The public market's good for two groups of people. If you're in a lower income bracket and you qualify for one of those subsidies or a discount, or if you have like a pretty major pre-existing condition, like you've got cancer or something like that, those plans are going to be better because you're going to have huge medical expenses. So having to hit a $7,000 deductible or something isn't a big deal, because you're going to hit that. And then so it's and I let people know that. That's what I was saying. I don't try to sell people on this plan. I've lost customers or clients, so to speak, because I run the numbers. I let them know, hey, I could put you on one of our private plans, but if it's not the best for them, I want to be able to sleep at night. So I'm not worried about trying to add an extra $100 to my paycheck or something. So I let them know this is what's going to be best for you. So.
All right. So I want to go back to the scenario of us as an
association.
Yeah, I mean, we're not technically an employer, you know what I mean?
No.
Although we are advocates for the industry and for the trucks in general. I know for a fact that the majority of the food truckers out there do not have insurance unless they're married to a spouse who has a full-time job with benefits and insurance.
Yeah,
they don't have it. And so for them,
that's risky.
It's a big risk because they have an investment. They have a truck, or they have a trailer, or they have a cart, or they have something that they put money into. And if they got sick, or, God forbid, the proverbial bus hits them, and they're laid up in the hospital, they're screwed.
Yeah. So, I mean, how many of them would go without, liability insurance, or, having their truck or trailer insured? I think most of your truckers probably know that they have to have their vehicle insured. They have to have.
That's a prerequisite to be a member in this association. But what I would like to find a way to do is to use the leverage of us as an association to be able to filter that that plan down to everybody, even if it's
Mhm.
just the primary owner of the vehicle or the unit that gets insured. At least they're protected should something happen to them, that they don't lose their entire investment.
Yeah, exactly. Because a lot of people,
So how do we do
they,
that?
a lot of people realize that they need to have their vehicle insured, but they might not view that they need to have themselves insured. But I think they do. It's
Yeah.
really risky to not have health insurance for yourself, because if you get sick, if you have some kind of an accident, like you said, you could put your livelihood at risk, and so it's really important that you do have that insurance. And
So we know that we need it. So how
Mhm.
do we get it in? That's just say that I'm sitting here and this isn't a part of the meeting or anything, and you and I are having a face to face, and I'm saying, hey, I've got 40 food trucks that I want to get insurance for. How do we do that?
So basically, you work with someone like me, and so I would set an appointment with you to go over the
Mhm.
specifics of the plan, because I don't want to bore people with specific details. But basically, I just share quotes. That's all I do. I need to know like who needs to be covered, their ages, the zip code.
Mhm.
So your listeners right now, I don't know if you've mentioned, like, shameful plug, my website is mybetterhealthplan.com.
Right.
And that's, they go there, they can put in their information that I would need. Basically, it's just like their name, age, zip code. It's just those three demographic criteria. And just it's completely private. If you've ever searched for health insurance online, you may have been bombarded by calls.
Right.
If you click on the wrong link and put your info on the wrong website, you're going to get calls from every agent and their brother. So just know that if you do go to my site, again, mybetterhealthplan.com, when you put in that info, that is going to be exclusive to me. No one will have it except for me. And all I'm going to do with that info is I'm going to go to the websites that I have access to as a licensed agent, and I'm going to plug in that info, and I'll be able to give you a quote immediately and say, this is what you would qualify for on the public plan. This is what the ACA plans would cost you, and these are what the private plans would cost you. I'm just going to show you the numbers.
But
So-
I guess what I'm getting at is, do we as an association get a group discount of some sort if we set this all up? In other words, yeah, Joe Schmo can go to, mybetterhealthplan.com and
Mhm.
put in their information, but we as an association would do that and say, look, these are all the members that want to sign up for it. Out of the 40 something food trucks that we have right now, 30 of them are looking to get coverage.
So we like I mentioned earlier, we do individual plans, so everyone would be individually underwritten.
Okay.
It wouldn't be a group plan, because for one, we don't do group plans. But even if you tried to reach out to a large carrier that offers group plans, the way you guys are set up, you wouldn't have a single payer. Like, it wouldn't be coming out of one bank account.
Mhm.
So like with a company like Procter and Gamble, they do get a little bit of they get that little bit of a discount, because the whole group is being paid for by one employer.
Mhm.
So if you, as the association of
Right.
if
I
you-
guess it's the same with the city. I mean,
Yeah.
the city pays for their employees' insurance, right?
Yeah. So if you, as the association, was you were paying for everyone's insurance,
Mhm.
then you would have that option of going with a group rate. But since as my understanding is, you guys aren't, you as the association aren't looking to insure everyone. You just want to show them where they could be, where they could go to.
I mean, I'd be willing to look at all the different options. You know what I mean? I
Okay.
just know that there are a certain amount of our members that just don't have insurance.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, whether it's because it's just too expensive for them individually. I
Mhm.
mean, there's got to be a way that we can pool together as a group or as a entity and get more affordable healthcare.
Yeah.
And pass that on down to the people that are working for us.
Absolutely. Because you mentioned about employees. I think you do get better quality employees when you do offer them benefits such as
absolutely.
as health insurance. So
if an individual came to you and applied as a business,
Yeah.
not as an individual, but as a business,
yeah,
and then said, "Hey, I want to offer this to my employees."
Yeah, we could do
up
that.
in the you can set that up.
Yeah,
in the
we
same
could.
city.
Yeah, we could do that. So
Okay.
if you had a food truck, you've got 3 employees, so it's 4 people that need to be covered.
Mhm.
You're still individually underwritten, so I would still set it up for each. It wouldn't be a group plan. It's not the 4 of you are on one policy. You each have your own individual policy,
Right.
but you as the employer would be paying for it, and then it would. So again, they're individually underwritten. They're covered, and then it's just simply you that pays for it. Or you could do what like the freight company's doing. The employee's paying for it, and then they're being reimbursed by the employer, and then
Okay.
it stays with them if they move somewhere else, if they get relocated to a
Right.
different city, or quit or laid off, whatever. They would have that coverage would stay with them.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, so we can work with anyone that's, let's say they're just a sole proprietor, so they're just the only person that works on their truck. We can cover them. If it's them and their wife, and the wife works on the truck or doesn't work on the truck, we can cover them. If they have 4, 5, 6, 10 employees, we can put them all. They would have individual policies.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a group plan. It's individual plans, but we could set it up to where the payment each month comes out of the business account, or you can set up where they just they get reimbursed by the employer.
It's real nice.
So there's lots of different options. So.
Our tax advisor said that that's actually a write-off if
absolutely
you wanted to do that.
No, it really is. That was one of the things I wanted to mention.
I was like, I didn't know that. So I can write this off.
I don't want to do that. That involves work.
Yes, as business owners, you can write off 100% of your health insurance expenses. Yeah, so and you would be foolish not to. Yeah, so
there you go.
So it's another incentive. If you're not covered, it's another incentive to think about it, because that does help give you another write-off.
So my chat's not working as yours, because I have not been able to see a single post come from anybody. No questions, not a single entity. I know there's people out there listening right now.
Well, they have to be. This is fascinating stuff.
Well, yeah. And I don't see any questions. So I know that people have questions, and I just can't. The chat window on my feed is not working. So.
We had one question about from Mike earlier about fires or about propane tanks being mounted underneath.
Yeah.
And what were the regulations on that? I don't know if we had covered that at
no, but we were out in the garage and we covered it. So you're good to go on an undermounted propane tank.
You're fine, Mike.
As long as that tank is not expired.
Yeah. As long as it's not as it would be on an RV or something like that.
Yeah. So to give you the background on that particular incident, we did a truck for El Caparel, and it was the first time that a truck with an undermounted propane tank had been inspected in Liberty Township, and we failed. So, but it was not due to the way that it was constructed or mounted or anything. It was because of the interpretation, and it goes back to those
standards,
these laws that were handed down, these guidelines that were handed down, not laws. They are left open to interpretation, and so. In this particular instance, the inspector was considering the undermounted tank as not being 36 inches off of the ground. And I'm like, well,
the bed is.
You got to consider this to be like an RV. Every single RV in the country has an undermounted propane tank that sits less than 24 inches off the ground. I said, it's no different when you horizontally mount a tank, as long as it's properly mounted to the frame and it's boxed in and protected from road hazards. It's the same scenario. So we had to get a hold of the fire marshal's office in Columbus and have them reach out to the local fire inspector and let them know that it was okay to have a horizontally mounted tank. So
that's the kind of stuff you do.
Yeah, well,
you, man.
Well, I wasn't going to reinstall this propane tank on the back of the truck. I was like, oh, hell no. No, it was bolted, it was mounted, and it wasn't going anywhere. I was like, no, I'm not taking that back apart. But yeah, we got it clarified, and now we can send trucks into Liberty Township with a horizontally mounted tank, and they'll be just fine. So, and actually, it's safer to have them underneath, bolted to the frame of the truck, than it is to have them rear mounted on the back of the truck in a collision aspect. So, I didn't realize that until I was told that by the state fire marshal, but that's kind of cool. So anyways, going back to the healthcare thing, let's get your contact information out there, because I know we're going to have a call coming in here shortly from Houston that we're going to have to get on from Nick Nanakos. And so let's get your information out to everybody so they can get in touch with you if they need insurance.
Okay. Well, again, the website is mybetterhealthplan.com.
Right.
My email and phone number are on that site, but if you just want to go ahead and, if anyone's jotting them down right now, phone number is 513-504-7962, and my email is tony.catanzaro, that's CATANZARO at USHadvisors.com.
Yeah,
And
we'll
I'm sure you can
post
put that in the
link.
comments.
Yeah. We'll put that in the link comments on the show down below. So if you're individually seeking healthcare coverage for yourself, for the members on your food truck, reach out to Anthony. I did ask him if he's related to the Catanzaro family on the produce side, and yes, he is
Distantly
relative of
related. Yep, distant cousins. Yep.
Discounts.
Well, actually, I've got an uncle that works for U.S. Foods. I could get discounts there.
See?
I'm
Yeah.
much closer related to my uncle Austin with U.S. Foods. So if you
I had a feeling.
need a food rep,
Yep.
There you go. Hey.
Yep. I think once we get up to the Hamilton Hub project that's going on up there in Hamilton, we'll be taking in truckloads of food up there. So that'll be kind of cool. But yeah, glad you took the time to come on.
yeah,
It kind of let me
Thanks for-
know
yeah.
exactly what it is that you can offer and provide, and so it'll be nice to have you as an allied partner moving forward.
absolutely. Yeah, and again, real quick, just I can get anybody a free quote, no hassle. If you're on a spouse's plan, you might save money from moving to an individual employee for your spouse, and then taking a look at the plans that we have access to. So like I said, free quote. I'm willing to work with anybody, and hopefully we can help you guys save money, because that's what it's all about.
Sounds good, my friend. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming in. We're going
Thanks
to
for having
continue on tonight's podcast. We're going to talk a little bit with Chad over here, because he's been sitting silently quiet and brought us all his fabulous barbecue tonight, and want to touch base with him about his season coming up and some of the things that we just got done doing to the Quadmobile. So formerly C Cube Catering, right?
C Cubed was 3 kids. Well, I'll tell you. Okay, so it started out as Cal Coop, because we had 2,
Mm-hmm.
and their first names were Callie and Cooper.
Okay.
And then Carter came along, so C Cubed, and they all have first names with C. And then we had Sierra, so now it's Quad Q.
Okay.
So a bunch of different name changes, and I'm learning you can't really change your brand very often because nobody can find you. So,
And who's teaching you that?
so
You're better off changing your home football team.
now we're Quad Q, and I think it's sticking.
Well, it's certainly branded. Let me tell you that. Yeah. So the trailer looks amazing. For one, I like the fact that you're wearing it on everything. You don't see a whole lot of mobile vendors out there that will get the hat, get the shirt, brand themselves across the board. It says a lot for that to be sunk into people's memories. Once they come the first time, try the food, and then, see the logo, they remember that, so I'm glad to see that everything is kind of migrating over to the Quad Q barbecue scenario. Now, I just got done doing some work on your trailer unit. You're fully compliant.
It's right out there.
I know. He asked, he said, will he inspect me tonight while I'm here? I was like, no, I don't think so.
Well, I'll do it right now.
Promise.
Yeah. But you're predominantly out west. So obviously, Leon, you're setting up at the Shell out
Right.
there.
Twice a week, we're at St. Leon and at the Shell gas station.
Yeah.
And we start next week. And I've been up there without this trailer 5 years.
Wow.
And that was once a week.
Really?
So it was started out as like a little summertime hobby.
So what were you doing? Pop-up tent or what?
It was a pop-up. So we went from a pull behind smoker trailer and a pop-up.
Right.
And I was making 4 or 5 trips.
All right.
Is that your call?
Yep. You're all right. Go ahead.
And then we graduated to a enclosed trailer
Mhm.
that we would have the sink and the fridge in there and some prep. Still out working out of the pop-up. And then last year was the first year of the full-fledged, mobile unit.
Well, it's a really nice looking unit, so I'm glad that you got it. So you're going to be down at the Monkey Bar for St. Patrick's Day celebration on Saturday the 13th. Is
Yes.
that correct?
Yep.
Along with 5 other of our food truck members. So that's going to be kind of a mini rally type deal. And being as it is the Monkey Bar, if we have a day weather-wise like today, it should be pretty packed. So obviously you don't live too far from there. Hopefully you'll come down and, visit a few of the food trucks that are down there serving. I know we've got Mama Bear's Mac and Cheese will finally be back from fishing.
Yeah.
She only been gone for 3 months. So they'll be back. I think Steak It Easy is going to be down there with you. The guys from German Corner down in Versailles, Indiana, they're coming all the way up for that. Rock and Roll's food truck's going to be there. And then, of course, AJ's Cheesesteak. So, nice variety of food. St. Patrick's Day celebration. And I'm telling you what, and this is no lie, I go to Mac's Pizza in Landon probably once a week. And it just so happened that we left out of the shop late last Friday. We had some things to get done for deadlines. And I probably got there, I'd say about 6:30. And this is less than half a mile from the Monkey Bar. And there wasn't a single place to park. I mean, it was just packed. And I thought to myself, COVID what? I mean, seriously. So walk in, everybody's got their mask on, everything was, but it was like it never happened, and I'm like, okay, well, I mean, if this isn't any indication of where people are at mentally right now, they just want out of the damn house. They want to go out and and the Monkey Bar is big enough to put them all over the place. If we had that many people in Mac's Pizza in Landon, I can only imagine what we could do with the Monkey Bar, So I expect a huge crowd out there for St. Patrick's Day celebration. And from what I understand, what are you going to be doing that day for an Irish dish?
Smoked corned beef brisket.
Ooh,
Nice.
So
Yeah.
I love corned beef.
there you go.
No, you talking about smoking it too? Ooh.
Mhm. So if you've seen his rig on the side over here,
Yeah, saw it.
Yeah.
Came in.
yeah, it's got a really nice big smoker on it on the back, and then we just hooked up all the equipment on the inside, so it's all fired and ready to go, working just perfectly. And no, I'm excited for you, dude. I mean, you've come a long way, especially coming from a pop-up tent 5 years ago to where you're at now. So there's a lot of people that post in the Facebook post groups that are out there, and they post every day. How did you get started? Where did you get your funding? I mean, how do you all afford to do this? And it's like, just follow your passions. It just start.
Do it.
Pop-up tent. I mean, I got started with a pop-up tent myself. I ran a pop-up tent for 8 months before I got into my first little trailer, and then that trailer led to another trailer. And now look, we're building a damn thing.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. So we're making other people's dreams come true. So it can happen, and Chad's just a testament to that fact that if you stick with it and you got a good product, and you do have a good product. It's
Thank
good
you.
stuff. Yeah.
Thank you.
So good to have you with us tonight, my friend. And I appreciate you out bringing all the barbecue out for us.
All right. You're welcome.
It was
But-
delicious.
you're about to learn a little bit about another tool that's available to food truckers. We've always been on this issue about the fees that are associated with delivery. The Grubhubs of the world and the DoorDashes of the world charging 30% for delivery is just crushing, any type of revenue that can be made from a food truck because of what they charge for their fees. And so we continually look online for different applications and different solutions that could provide a much better solution so that you're not paying as much money to have your food delivered. But if you start looking at it from a restaurant standpoint, which a truck has to do now because it is basically operating as a restaurant, but it's just mobile, you have to get your food out, even though you're mobile, in a delivery scenario. So even though you're parked somewhere, say at a clubhouse or something in a neighborhood, all those people can, sign up on their apps and order their foods in advance and pick them up at your truck. But you really ought to offer 3 to 5 mile radius delivery around your truck while you're there for that 4-hour period. Question is how do you get that food out to the area surrounding your truck without breaking the bank? And so we continually look for solutions, and we came across an app that we think you guys might want to know more about. It's called Food Truck Bucks, and we were going to have this gentleman on last week, but unfortunately, Houston got hit just as hard as we did, if not worse, by the snowstorms that rolled through. And so they were literally out of power during the podcast last week. And so he didn't want to stay on his phone because it was the only bars that were left on there were like 2, and he didn't want to waste them on me, which I don't blame you, Nick. So we want to welcome Nick to the program from Truck Bucks. Nick, are you there, bud?
Yes, I'm there. Thank you, Anthony. It's a pleasure to be on, and to all the listeners, pleasure to be with you. So, excited to chat and talk a little bit more about Truck Bucks and what we're doing to help the food truck industry move forward with delivery without taking predatory fees like all of the other, very large companies are, the Grubhubs, the DoorDashes, the Uber Eats. So with that, I can go right into it if that's cool with you, Anthony.
Yeah, checking in on the weather down there, though, real quick. I mean, how you guys holding up down there, okay?
Yeah, it's the last week it was ready to kill us, and this week it's like 80. So it's definitely hours back, and yeah, things are good. Things are good.
So you guys were out delivering some free meals the other day, I heard.
Yes, yesterday and today we gave away 100 free meals to the Austin community because basically all the delivery companies were stalled and people couldn't get transportation. There was no power and no water and just a whole mess. So we partnered with a local food truck here in Austin. We gave away 100 meals. We gave 50 away Monday and 50 away today. It was me and a few members of my team running around the city. So,
wow, that's awful generous of you, man. I'm sure everybody down there appreciates your efforts.
Thank you. Yep, it was great. So,
well, let's talk a little bit about Truck Bucks. I mean, obviously, you heard a little bit about what we have an issue with. I particularly have an issue with, and that's these exorbitant fees being charged by some of these delivery companies, especially when they're pinging food trucks, which really don't have that great of a margin to begin with. So we're always looking for solutions, and we came across Truck Bucks and wanted to find out more about the app and what you guys are doing.
Yep, absolutely. I like to always open up with a little bit of context on myself, just because I think that you guys are getting services pushed down your throat left and right, and it seems like something new is popping up every day. So, a little bit on my background. I'm from New York originally. Come from a huge food entrepreneurial background. My family's been in the restaurant industry forever, all the way back to my grandfather. From diners to steakhouses to cafes and all that. So I've been around food forever. And eventually went to school in Philadelphia. I was studying finance, thought I was going to like it. I ended up hating it after working at some banks and everything like that. But while I was studying on Drexel University's campus, there's around 40 food trucks, and then like another 40 on the neighboring campus. And I started traveling to all the other major cities, and I saw the same trend. And so it fascinated me. And what fascinated me was mainly the part that it was a mobile kitchen, right? It wasn't necessarily the fact that it was a food truck, quote unquote. I understood the intense startup cost of a brick and mortar. right? And then I was looking at these trucks and I'm like, okay, well, they're mobile kitchens. They're a fraction of the startup cost. That's why they're surging, right? We all know that they surged after 2008 more than anything. And then I looked at that and said, okay, but there's no technology that's powering their operations. That's letting them reach customers, letting the customers order ahead, letting the customers order for delivery. And in addition to that, the trucks are losing out on sales because people were waiting in line forever. People couldn't find the food trucks because they're moving around, right? Like, it's not effective to be updating your location every day on Twitter,
Right.
or on Facebook. And then additionally, many of them were cash only. So you're also alienating a huge customer base. And so I started building Truck Bucks while I was on campus, and then essentially launched it in mid 2018. So I started working on it at the end of 2016, was building it the whole year up to 2018, and then dropped out of school after launching it and been doing it full time ever since, and moved to Austin, Texas, where I currently reside. An amazing food truck city over here as well. And so kind of shifting into Truck Bucks now. So Truck Bucks is a food delivery startup for food truck owners and their customers. So I'll start with the customer first. So customers will download the Truck Bucks app on their phone. It's on iOS and Android, and it lets them discover, locate, and order food trucks nearby based on their location, and they can order ahead for pickup and delivery. And in the app, they can pay with their card, Apple Pay, Venmo, however they want. It shows all the details of the truck, where they are on that given day. It gives them open and map directions to find the truck. It shows the truck's ratings, their hours of operation, images of their food, the prices, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the truck side, you guys have your own app, which is called the Truck Bucks Vendor app. It can be used on your smartphone device or a tablet. So you don't necessarily there's no hardware cost associated, no setup fee, none of that. Most of our vendors use it from their cell phone, which makes sense. It's very light and lean technology, and you're already working out of a small space to begin with. So the last thing you need is giant hardware in there again.
Right.
But nonetheless, if you want to use it on a tablet, you can. And what it does for the food trucks is that you receive the incoming orders from the customers for pickup and delivery. You set the prep time, so you notify the customer or the delivery driver exactly when it's ready and when to arrive. You have full control of your menu, so you can upload images to your items. You could change your price. You could add descriptions. If something goes in stock or out of stock, you can do it with the touch of a button. You can update your hours of operation, your live location, and then you can track all your sales analytics. So what you did performance-wise, tax, tip, and everything like that. We now deliver in all 50 states. So we have drivers available in every major city and typically every suburb as well. And if it's ever a question of, uncertainty for a truck wanting to join, we would just run a simple zip code check and see if we're available. But moving on to the pricing. Now, mostly every large company that has the capacity to deliver as much as we do is taking 30% or more on every single order from you for delivery and pickup too. Some people get it negotiated down to 22%, 25%. Nonetheless, very predatory fees, right? That's because these companies built their businesses on these delivery models that are extremely expensive to do. It's the reality. So from one point, okay, I understand, because in order for it to be sustainable, they have to take crazy fees, but nonetheless, it becomes the burden of the food truck owner, and they're the one getting crushed on profit. And if you do use them, you either give up 30% on every order, so your whole margin's just eviscerated,
Mm-hmm.
or you raise your prices 30% on the app, and the customer has to suffer. So you're caught in this terrible situation. And so for Truck Bucks, we only take 5% on pickup and delivery orders. That's it. Completely it. So, there's no setup fee, there's no monthly fee, there is no hidden fee, nothing at all. It's just, we bring you an order, we take 5% on that.
So let me ask you real quick, on the delivery side of things, how does that work in, say, a different market where there's not a pool of delivery drivers that are Uber Eats has all these drivers that are, clamoring to work for Uber Eats to go take, 30. I mean, how does that work in the Truck Bucks world? Do you have a driver program?
So that's a great question. The reason we can deliver in all 50 states, interestingly enough, is because DoorDash and Uber Eats and Postmates, by the way, Uber Eats acquired Postmates, so they're the same company now.
Right.
All of those companies have the capacity to deliver in all 50 states, but they have these basically, they're called APIs. They make their delivery logistics public to certain companies like Truckbox. So they give us some code, we put it into the Truckbox app, and it gives us access to millions of their drivers. And so we basically, the delivery experience that you're going to get from DoorDash or Uber Eats, these multi-billion-dollar companies, you're getting the identical experience from Truckbox because we're using their drivers. The only difference is that they're taking 30% if it goes through them. We're only taking 5%. And we can do that because the customer pays the delivery fee, and that goes to the partner. So if DoorDash completes a delivery order on our behalf, the customer pays the delivery fee, and that goes to DoorDash. That's where they make their money. We don't lose any money on that, whatever. We just take the 5% from the truck. That make sense?
Yeah, actually, I didn't know that was the way that whole scenario worked out. So the delivery fee then goes to DoorDash or Grubhub or whomever you got the API from.
Right.
Is that fee like nominal? I mean, what is it, $1 or $2 or what is it?
So it varies. Delivery fees will change on radius. They'll change by supply of drivers, and they can even change based on the time of the day.
But that's the consumer paying for that.
That's the consumer paying for that, but we are also about to release a feature that will allow the vendor to cover some of the delivery costs if they want, either in the form of $2, $3, or even in the form of 50% of the delivery fee. So the delivery fee for DoorDash, which is our primary delivery partner, doesn't ever exceed $7. It's typically between $4 to $5. But we're going to give the trucks the ability to. We'll also give the trucks the ability to cover some of that delivery fee if they choose to. They don't have to, but if they want to alleviate something from the customer, and look at it this way, right? If DoorDash is taking 30% from you on a $40 order, you're paying them $12. If you cover $3 of the delivery fee through Truckbox plus the 5% commission, you're still paying less than half of what they would have taken from you.
Okay, but is that on any size order? I mean, like if I spend, I'm feeding a family of 6 tonight and I want to spend $120, is that still in that $7 delivery fee range, or does my delivery fee increase the larger my order is?
No, your delivery will be capped at $7. It doesn't exceed that. Not for DoorDash.
So basically, every single person that's using DoorDash and all these, as far as trucks go, should be switching over to Truckbox and should be pumping that because it's less.
Exactly. Yes. So
it's
interestingly
extremely
enough,
less of a fee.
it's not like we're talking the difference of 5%. We're literally talking the difference of
25.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
more
you're
than
talking
2%.
about 25%.
That's huge.
And so, and that's a great point that you just brought up, because we're actually partnering with the #1 earning chef on all of DoorDash in Austin, Texas. And he's running a 24-foot food truck, but he's operating just pickup and delivery. And he signed up to every single service. He's using DoorDash, Grubhub, $100K a month in gross sales.
Wow.
But he's walking away with 65, 70. So now we're doing a partnership with him where, he's a very, very high performer. But we're doing an exclusive deal with him where he's going to basically convert all of his customers over to us. It benefits us and him.
So I'm looking at your app right now online. There's a thing that I just came across the other day. So obviously you're not, and so does everybody listening probably that's in the food truck game, that there's multiple apps out there that do all the different aspects of online ordering, tracking of the truck, open hours, all that kind of stuff. Foodies, Where's the Food Truck, Street Food Finder, foodtruck.pub. Now there's this one called Orderum that we came across as well. And I think what you're doing as far as the fee structure is spot on, and what needs to happen for a food truck to be profitable on the delivery side. But there's no mention rarely on your site anywhere that shows that you have a delivery team. So why is that not more prevalent on your site and shows that, hey, we got these delivery drivers all over the country that are ready to go deliver your food for 5%.
Yep. It's funny you say that too, because tomorrow we're actually updating. We built a brand new website from scratch that'll be live tomorrow. And it's going to reflect that. It's emphasized heavily. We deliver in all 50 states. We provide the drivers for you. So that's going to be on the vendor's page tomorrow. And you'll see that. So you're right about that. And that's something that I pointed out to the team, and that'll be reflected there tomorrow.
Well, that'll be awesome, because I think that's the biggest, the biggest hurdle that we've come across is how do we find a group of drivers that can deliver for these food trucks? And,
Right.
we were trying to come up with a solution internally. And I said, well, just pay somebody $15 an hour and give them tips. I mean, hell, they'll make $30 an hour, delivering for a food truck. I mean, who the hell wouldn't do that,
Bootleg.
Yep, totally.
Bootleg food
And,
truck driver delivery.
You'll see, what I'll say is that you'll see, I would definitely encourage everyone to check the site probably around this time tomorrow. It'll be completely revamped. It looks way better than it does now. And it'll have that emphasis. Another thing, you had mentioned the other companies. What I'll say about truck bucks is this. A lot of these companies that you had mentioned too were popping up in the past year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
My team has been high conviction on food trucks from 2016. So we've been building technology years and years ahead. And the technology that the app is built in is built in a very strong programming language too. It's the same exact technology that LinkedIn, Uber Eats, and Instagram are built in. So it's also, from that standpoint, it's very powerful. Now, occasionally, right, there'll be things that we have to resolve. For example, we had Ty from AJ's Cheesesteaks who signed up for the app, and he came across some issues that we had.
Right.
And he gave us a bunch of feedback. And I just had a call with Ty a couple hours ago. Night.
Go figure.
Go figure.
So it was great. But what I'll say is, I mean, those things are critical, because you have to spend time with the customer to actually understand the root of the issue. And Ty was great and very helpful, and offered to even help and test out the app with us for the next week and note any things that need improvement, because that's part of what we're doing. We're constantly building new tech. We got a team of like 13 engineers that are constantly working on the platform.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, it says a lot, and about somebody that's developing software like yourself that has an app out there that's approachable and is willing to listen to the feedback from the people that this app is going to benefit. So, that says a lot. I mean, I certainly couldn't get on the phone tomorrow with, Bill Gates and talk to him about some of the problems I have with Microsoft. I mean, but we all have them, You send an email off and you never hear shit back for 6 months. And then all of a sudden something pops up in your email. Oh, about that issue's been resolved. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Well,
okay.
That's a good point. That's like the fundamental principles that Truckbox was built on, because I'm not coming into this industry from a tech standpoint where I'm like, oh, I want to just build a product and I want to sell this. It's like, I actually was working at my parents' restaurant for years. I watched everything ground up. We have now over 150 food trucks on the platform, but up until probably about 125, only recently I was able to hire some people to do it. It was me signing up all like 125 food trucks and spending hours and hours in the trucks talking to the owners. Like, a lot of people don't do that. They want to just go and approach it from the software business standpoint, but you have to spend time with the owners. Like, getting on a call with Ty is feedback that I otherwise probably wouldn't have found out if I just sat back and expected, to find that out on my own.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. So sales matrix so does the everything integrate obviously with the POS systems that are popular, Square, Clover? So
actually we want to be able to also offer the service and not basically create a need for vendors to even have Square. And so the next product that we're launching, which should be done probably towards the end of April, maybe mid-April, if we move faster on it, is the web app. And so a lot of trucks are using the Square site where, you put the link in your bio on Instagram or whatever, or, they go there and they order through that. So the customers can just go to your website and order now, order online, and that's done through the Square site. Mm-hmm. We're launching the same exact thing we're launching in April, but it's going to be fully compatible with the vendor app they already have and also the customer. Same thing for the customer. So it'll be an amazing feature that won't require users to have the app downloaded to place orders. They'll just be able to go to your site and do it as well.
Well, that's pretty damn awesome.
I got a question for you, Nick. Are
Yep.
you open to working with POS providers as far as the link and the connection? So you say, obviously it works with Square, but is that a pretty easy process for any POS provider to integrate with your system?
I would be open to it. I've actually reached out to Square in the past week because one thing we're diving into as we gear up for this web app to launch at the end of April, we need to ensure that there's very reliable receipt printing functionality.
Yep,
so
absolutely.
like when you're doing mass volume, you're having 300 orders coming in or 150, whatever it may be, you're at a festival, it doesn't matter. You need the receipt printer.
Yep.
And so up until now, we haven't really had a need for the receipt printer, but with the launch of this, we will. So basically I told my team, okay, we can either integrate with Square or we can go ahead and link our app to the receipt printer itself. And now what we're going to do is both, because if you have a lot of Square loyalists in the food truck industry. So
Yeah, for sure.
if they love Square for other features, maybe it's payroll, maybe it's something else, then they can still have the ability to integrate TruckBucks to it. If they don't, however, have Square, we shouldn't be limited to need Square as a partner just to print receipts, or tickets. So we'll do both, but probably leading with Square because it's the leading POS. But I would say the main reason people are using the Square terminal is for in-person, orders, like in the card and whatnot. But we're going to put the QR code on the outside of the trucks too when the web app is launched, and customers can order right from the phone as well without even having to download the app. So you may not even need Square.
That's great. That's awesome.
Nice. So I love the name TruckBucks. We actually have the association itself has a printed version that we call TruckBucks, in which we do promotional giveaways from time to time, where we will issue out $50 or $20 or $100 worth of TruckBucks for different events and give those away on social media. So we're not infringing on your name. Just to let you know, we've been doing the printed version for a long time. But yeah, we call them TruckBucks, and they get turned in at our various food trucks at events, and then as the association, we will reimburse the truck for whatever bucks were turned in. So maybe we can collaborate and work on some sort of a partnership arrangement for that.
Yep, no, definitely. And I would like to also, chat about launching an offer for all the listeners as well. Maybe we could do some kind of promotion with commission. I mean, even though the 5% is so negligible, maybe we do 30-day or 60-day free, for everyone, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to give Ty a call and find out from him what all the issues. I know that he said he had tested it out or tried it out and came across some things, but he never really gave us much detail about what those were. So I'm sure that you probably have already addressed those. And I would like to try and figure out how we can implement this here on a delivery basis for trucks. I mean, like tomorrow. So
right.
Our trucks are going out to neighborhoods. They're setting up, and that neighborhood itself is being notified that truck is there on site at the clubhouse or whatever is in the center of that neighborhood. But the adjoining neighborhoods do not receive those notifications, so it's only coming from that particular HOA. Well, that HOA might be in charge of one side of the street. Whereas on the other side of the street is just as many homes, but they're not aware that truck's there. And so unless they have the app turned on, they're not going to know. But I think this would make it feasible to have this, have this service. I mean, they got to if they could get their food out to not only that neighborhood that they're servicing, but the surrounding neighborhoods for delivery. Mm-hmm. I mean, shit, they could increase their revenue, at least 20-30%, I would think.
Yep, exactly. I'm with you 100%. And I mean, even what you said earlier about, having the trucks push it to their own base and say, look, do you want to order ahead? Do you want delivery? Use this instead, right? Because also from the customer standpoint, increasingly, a lot of people care to support local after the whole pandemic as well. And they don't want to go through. There's a lot of campaigns all over social media. Some posts have over 100,000 likes, really against ordering through third-party platforms because they're killing the restaurants and the food trucks.
Oh, absolutely. I'm totally against it. I hate them.
Yep.
Yeah,
I get it.
I won't use them.
I get it completely. Yep.
My wife and I absolutely refuse to order anything through DoorDash, Grubhub, or anything else. Even though we got to throw our pajamas on and put our slippers on and drive to the Chinese place every now and then that we get takeout from, that's what we do, because I'm not going to pay somebody or take away revenue from that particular brick and mortar,
Yep. I do the same thing here in Austin. I only order through Truckbucks. Or that's it.
Well, I would hope so.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, I wanted to ask Nick when he thinks he might be publicly traded. I think I want to buy stock in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people ask that. What do you want to do? Do you want to, sell it? Do you want to sell it to DoorDash? Do you want to, I'm just focused on building a very, very awesome company, and that's it. I don't have any intention to sell anything like that. It's going to keep going. We're actually doing a lot of things, certain things that I can't really even announce yet, but we're going into the ghost kitchen space, which is going to be an amazing thing. That we're going to partner with some food trucks on. So I'll be able, probably if I can get on maybe in a couple months from now or something, or a month and a half, and I'd be happy to announce that, which I think many people would be in love with the concept.
Absolutely. You're welcome to come on the program anytime,
No,
I mean, we're 8 weeks into this whole thing, and we think we might have the technical stuff figured out because we actually started on time tonight. And we're going to start adding, a little bit of here and a little bit of there to the whole thing. And we got multi-camera setups coming here in the next couple of weeks. So we're only going to get better at doing what we're doing, so we'd love to have you back on the program. Absolutely.
Yep. 100%. Appreciate that.
All right, my friend.
One other thing I would say too is if you need any help on finding any issues, tech related stuff, you got to give Ty a call because he's gonna spot him out for you.
He's gonna tell you.
No, really?
He'll get him for you.
Scared.
He'll get him for you, so.
He's scared to tell you.
He's not afraid to voice his opinion.
Great. You have a lot for sure.
All right, Nick, I appreciate you being on, my friend. You take care down there in Houston.
Everyone.
Thanks, Nick.
Yeah, Austin. But you know what? Same thing. We're right there. But guys, I appreciate it so much. If anybody has any questions, you can reach me directly. Even it's just my email is nick@truckbucks.com, and it's truck BUX, one word. So again, my email is just nick@truckbucks.com. Please feel free to reach out, any questions, whatever it is. And if you're interested in getting started, we'll get you going. And then Anthony, we can talk about launching a promotion for your listeners specifically.
Awesome.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Thanks, Nick.
All right. Thank you. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Wow.
Well, so there you have it. I'm sure. I don't know. Is he listening? Ty, are you listening? You heard Nick talk about your critique of his food truck app. So hopefully whatever technical issues you came across, he's been able to address and fix. And, it's just going to be, I think, a better and better app if he's willing to listen like that to food truckers.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, 5%. Come on, man.
It's pretty killer.
You should press your little button thing.
You got a sound effect for that?
Yeah, we do. Did you get it? No, you can't.
I gotta get it working again.
Do I have to do it
I
by
had
myself?
to get it working again.
We'll do that in post.
Yeah.
No, I got it.
No, you don't. We don't do post production.
That involves work.
You guys will get the hint. Like, subscribe. We've been asking. This is 8 weeks. We've been asking for people to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We don't want to be millionaires off of this or anything. All I want to do is change the name of the damn channel. It's right now on YouTube. If you look at our actual channel nomenclature behind, it's youtube.com/ blah, 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 and I can't put the name of, Foodtrucker Magazine there according to YouTube
Subscribe.
until I hit 100 subscribers. And I'm like, all I want you to do is subscribe. And so we were talking about it pre-show today, and I'm like, I ain't gonna subscribe to that. Why should I? It might make me money. It's going. Why would I subscribe to something that's gonna save me money? I wouldn't do that. Hell
I
no.
don't want to do that. That involves work.
That's funny. Well,
So,
I
yeah.
would definitely subscribe.
We were having a blast with it. We're just like, you know what? I don't know. We do this because we know that there's going to be one person out there that's going to tune into this tonight, and they're going to benefit from it. And that one person is the only person that we really need to reach. And
That's why
so
we're here.
That's right.
the rest of y'all can just kiss my butt.
You gotta make sure you tell them to hit the notification bell too, though.
Yeah.
Subscribe and hit
Yeah,
the
I mean,
notification bell.
you're on a great track here. Obviously, they're chatting, which is great. They should be liking with the thumbs up. They should be sharing. I mean, subscribing, all of the above.
Yeah.
Before, during, after, anytime you want to. 3 a.m, get on there, hit the button, start making comments. We don't care. Go ahead and share it with everybody you know. Share it a bunch of times. Share it every week. We don't care. Just press the
No.
button. It's like 2 seconds. Button and another button.
But that's okay. I mean, like I said, it only takes us to reach one person, and that one person that benefits from it, then so be it. We've changed the life of one person. Speaking of which, we got several things coming up in the month of April. So we have been working with the Hamilton County Small Business Development Center in putting together another food truck seminar. Obviously, because of COVID, we have to do this one virtually. And what we have decided to do is develop this 4-week long program. And it's going to be basically Monday and Tuesday in April. The specific dates are the 20. All this stuff is being hashed out and finalized because they have been given a green light from. Let me check the date real quick. Actually, it's March. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Yeah. So March 22nd and 23rd. And 29th and 30th. So here's what's going to happen. On Monday, March 22nd, from 9 to 11 a.m., we will have a 2-hour course. On 23rd, we will have a 2-hour course. The following Monday and Tuesday, we will have another 2-hour course and another 2-hour course. That gives us 8 total hours in which we can cover the entire spectrum of everything that you need to know in order to get into the food truck business and to become successful in the food truck business. Now, we did this last year. We were able to do it in person. We did it at the African American Chamber of Commerce, and we had 39 participants in person. I know for a fact out of those 39, 4 have gone on to own food trucks and trailers and mobile concession units. 2 of them, which are members of ours, which is a good thing because, they know they can call me anytime for any kind of advice or information. But so we know it works. I think a lot of people out there aren't sure how to get started, where to get started. Once we go through that first 2-hour period, that's going to kind of weed out the rest of them. Because I'm not sugarcoating the business like some courses might. I will be opening up with you probably shouldn't be in the food truck business. And that's coming from a guy that's the president of an association. And I say that because half the people aren't cut out for this work. They're not. And it is work. It's hard work. It's a lot of hours. It's a lot of selfless hours. The only joy that you get out of it, other than earning a little bit of scratch, is getting to feed people your food. And that, for many food truckers, is what matters the most. Getting that smile from that customer when they turn around and be like, oh my God, that's so good, And repeat customers. So, that satisfaction is what a lot of food truckers live for. And if that's the sole purpose and the sole mission of what you want to do, then you're probably in the right business. So But, building a franchise operation out of it, there's several national brands that have done that. Obviously, the Kona brand has gone on to build, multiple units across multiple states, and a very successful brand as far as mobile is concerned. Tiki's is another one, which is a member of ours. And so there are possibilities that you could, technically go to that next level and if that's what your ultimate goal is. But I think for the most part, it's people that just want to serve great quality food, make a little bit of money doing it, and not have to work for the man. I think a lot of people are kind of sick and tired of corporate America and work there 25 years only to be let go right before you're, qualifying for full retirement benefits and everything else, which is pretty much what I've been hearing a lot over the past several years. So, but anyways, so going back to the class scenario, it will be for 2 weeks, Monday, Tuesday each week, 22nd, 23rd, 29th, and 30th. And then we will be doing a web seminar on building your website, Mr. Chad. And that's going to be held in April. Date for that is set at April 19th. So if you want to learn how to build your website, integrate all of your online ordering entities as far as the apps are concerned, we can teach you in that class on the 19th how to do all that. We have also brought on a new component to the association. It is a social media I guess you want to call her guru, because that's what we said in the ad when we posted it out a few weeks back. We have been able to secure and find a young woman who is really fluent and good on social media. Her name is Avery, and she will be open to bringing on any food truck out there in our association, or actually any food truck in Greater Cincinnati that wants to take advantage of having a social media individual handle their day-to-day social media. So we're talking about posting on a daily basis, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever else channels you might have. She's not going to do your Snapchat. She's not going to do your TikToks. You guys can do those on your own. But if you've got a social media platform for the food trucking world that makes sense, such as those top 3, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, she can help you manage those, create your ads for you, and make sure that you're on top of your social media game. So if you want more details about her services, I will be pushing those out into the Queen City business page on our Facebook platform. So check that for details on how to get involved with her. It's really going to be inexpensive for you to do this, folks, because we've been searching for somebody that would be willing to help everybody out there that needs help. And there's quite a few of you out there that need help on your social media platform. So we have found you somebody to do that.
You know who you are.
You know who you
Not
are.
Ty.
It's not Ty. It was 6 a.m. and here's Ty, man. Oh, man, I'm so tired.
That dude's
I'm
a
tired.
hustler.
It's cold.
That dude's
cold.
got hustle.
But he's a hustler. And then the day that I saw Rob Doltz, man, doing the bust out on the dance floor carpet on Coleraine Avenue, I was like, now there is a trooper
See,
right
food
there.
Truckers, yeah, they know how to have fun. They know how to have fun.
Well, I never expected it from him, but I'm just sitting here watching him do his thing. And I was like, that dude, it's the middle of winter, freezing his butt off, covered up like a freaking Eskimo, man. And
You
he's
gotta
out there
do the-
busting his
Has
moves.
to do the dance. You got to keep the bones moving.
I swear to God, I couldn't stop laughing for 30 minutes. He has no idea how happy that made me that day watching that video. But anyways, we're probably going to start wrapping things up. But Anthony, I truly appreciate you coming in, letting us know exactly what can be done as far as obtaining healthcare insurance. I truly think it's going to play a factor moving forward for people to find good quality help. It's the biggest complaint I hear right now, especially with my friends that own brick and mortars. Scott, Angela from Angela's Curbside Cuisine, constantly looking for staff and employees for their brick and mortar. They have multiple food trucks, so they have to staff more than most. And it's the same thing, it's just hard to find good quality help. And so I think it's going to come down to a whole package scenario where you're not only paying them well, but you're also offering benefits. You're also, face it, you can go to Walmart right now and what is it, $15 an hour or something like that, and be a greeter.
Yeah.
All you can do is stand here and wave at people when they walk in, and I'm getting paid $15 an hour, So, it's going to come down to, the minimum wage being raised in the state of Ohio. It's just going to become competitive, and you're going to have to have.
I don't want to do that.
I don't want to do that. That's
I
work.
don't want to do that. That involves work.
So, anyways, I appreciate you coming on. Hopefully, you had a little fun.
I had a great time. No, I thanks for having me on.
Like you said, there's an entertainment
Yeah.
factor.
Yeah.
And what's funny is we haven't had a single beer. We're just high on Mountain Dew.
We're all jacked up.
We're all jacked up on Mountain Dew. Quad, thank you there, my friend
You're
Chad,
welcome.
bringing in that delicious barbecue. That stuff was good, my friend. We'll see you down to Monkey Bar on the 13th.
Looking forward to it.
Yes, sir. So are we. Peace out. See you guys next Tuesday if you tune in. If you don't, sorry about your luck.